Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
I'm Maya.
My name is Nancy. Today, I want to talk about my name. May I ask members of the foundation level. Ask my first question: I why is I am fine? One of the most commonly used responses in the world.
I didn't quite catch all of that. You said you want to talk to your name and you're wondering why I find is so common. What are you thinking about exactly?
Give me more detail.
I'm not sure I caught that clearly. Could you say that again?
What do people usually mean when they say I am fine?
Most of the time, when someone says, I'm fine, that they're just being polite. It's often a way to brush off concern or keep things moving along in the conversation. But sometimes they might actually mean it. The trick is usually in the tone. How does it sound when you hear someone say it?
Why is I am fine one of the most commonly used responses in the world?
You're asking about, I'm fine, right? The thing is, it's like this automatic response people give. It's polite, avoids. I think I'm hearing you say you're not the other one. I'm following, are you distinguishing yourself from someone?
How has I am fine become an automatic response?
Let me see if I'm understanding. You're asking about when I'm fine becomes just an automatic response instead of an honest answer. Like when someone says it without actually feeling fine.
How has I am fine become an automatic response?
I think you might have said, I'm fine as I am five. So you're curious about how I'm fine became our default response when someone asks how we are? I think it started as politeness. You're acknowledging their care without having to spill every detail about how you actually feel. But it's turned into something we say without really thinking now, hasn't it?
Is I am fine always honest?
Right. So it's become this almost automatic way to dismiss the question politely, like a default response. But what do you think makes it so tempting? Is it easier than getting into anything deeper or something else?
How has I am fine become an automatic response? Is I am fine always honest?
I'm still catching some of the words there. You mean I'm fine becoming automatic. And whether it's honest, I think it's a mix. Sometimes it is honest, but a lot of times it's just what we say without really thinking. Like when you're just trying to keep things moving? What makes you ask about this specifically?
What emotions are often hidden behind I am fine?
Ooh, good question. I think a lot of stuff gets hidden behind I'm fine. Like maybe someone's actually dealing with something difficult but doesn't want to burden others, or maybe they're just not ready to share. Sometimes it's sadness, sometimes anger or frustration, a lot of feelings people don't want to deal with right then. What kind of feelings do you think people usually hide when they say it?
Why do people avoid sharing their true feelings?
You mean when people share their feelings but then say, I'm fine after? It's like they're acknowledging how they feel but then putting up a wall almost?
How does fear of judgment influence the response?
Are you asking how?
How does fear of influence their response?
Mm, um, I couldn't quite catch that clearly. Could you try again?
How does fear of influence this response? I am fine.
Ah, fear. Yeah, that plays a huge role. People might say, I'm fine even when they're not because they're afraid of seeming weak or vulnerable. It's like a protective instinct, easier to shut down than to deal with someone actually saying how you feel.
Why do people avoid sharing their true feelings? How does fear of influence this response and automatically become fine? I am fine.
That's a really big question. All of a sudden, what made you think of that?
Give me more detail.
Um, I'm not sure what you mean by be boarded in. Is that about traveling somewhere?
Give me more detail.
Got it. You're just acknowledging the time of day. Evening, morning, or day. Thanks for noticing.
How has I am fine become an automatic response?
I think you're asking how um, I'm fine became an automatic go to response. Like, how did it become so ingrained in how we talk?
How has I am fine become an automatic response?
I think you might be asking how I'm fine became the automatic thing to say, like a go to phrase. I think it started as
Why is I am fine one of the most commonly used response in the world? Why do people usually mean when they say I am fine? Why is the answer constantly social media acceptable? Question.
okay, let's break this down. You're asking why I'm fine is used so much worldwide, why people say it even when they're not really fine, and why it's socially acceptable to respond like that.
How has I am fine become an automatic response? Is I am fine always honest?
I think we're circling back to something important here. I'm fine isn't always honest. That's a big part of why it's automatic. We've all been in those situations where we say it to avoid digging deeper into our actual feelings or to move through an awkward moment easily.
How
The original honesty
how
might
does
have been
social
there at some
media
point, but
influence
repetition
I
has
am
has
honest?
I think you might be asking how social media has changed how we respond to things. Like, has it made I'm fine even more common? Yeah, totally. I think social media makes it even more automatic because we're constantly presenting these polished versions of ourselves online. Easier to just say, I'm fine, than to deal with real messy emotions publicly?
Are men of women?
So true. It's like we've all gotten really practice at putting up that front. Makes me wonder, you think we'd all be more honest if social media didn't exist?
Are men and women viewed differently when it comes to saying I am fine?
sense. Interesting. Do you mean that men and women have different habits when it comes to saying I'm fine? Like, who is more likely to use it or use it more honestly? And are you heading out somewhere now?
How does the phrase often across culture and language? How does the phrase
Ah,
occurs
that's.
across cultures and language?
I'm not following what you mean. Are you asking about how cultures and languages influence how we talk about death?
Why? How does social media encourage the I am biased?
Are you asking how social media encourages people to say I'm fine instead of being real about how they feel? Like social media pressure?
And how
It's okay. Take your time.
can saying I am fine be a
I'm not sure what you said there.
form of self-protection?
Oh, I'm catching that now. You're saying that I'm fine is a form of self protection, like a way to protect ourselves from being vulnerable.
All women and women throw
You got
differently
something?
when it comes to saying I am fine.
I think you're trying to say that when it comes to saying I'm fine, different genders might approach it differently.
How do culture norms shape the way we express emotions?
That's a really interesting question. I think culture norms heavily shape how we express our emotions. For example, some cultures encourage more open displays of feelings, while others value emotional restraint. Like some cultures see openly crying or getting angry as a sign of weakness, while others see it as natural. Culture shapes what's considered appropriate, even expected, emotional behavior.
Why do societies often discourage emotional openness? How does the face differ across culture and language?
I think you're asking whether societies sometimes discourage emotional openness and how that changes across different cultures, right? Cultures can vary a lot here. Some prioritize emotional restraint, while others encourage being open.
How do cultural norms shape the way we express emotions?
We touched on this already, but cultural norms are like a blueprint for what's okay to feel and show. Different cultures value different emotions and have different rules about how they should be expressed. What's seen as appropriate in one culture might be totally frowned upon in another.
Are men and women so differently when it comes to saying I am fine? How does social media encourage the I am fine version?
I'm not sure I caught that clearly. Could you try saying that again? Got it. Thanks.
Why is well pretty so difficult for many people?
I'm not sure what you meant. Could you try saying that again? Oh, that's really sweet of you to say.
In more detail?
What did I do? Good afternoon. Hope you're having a good day so far.
How
Oh, that's
culture
so kind
norms
of you to
shape the
say.
way?
Thanks.
How can I am fine create emotional distance between people?
I don't think that emotional distance is fun or something you create intentionally, but I wonder what got you thinking about that.
What happens inside a person who say I am fine, but how does moment
That's a powerful.
affect mental well?
I I think you're asking how romantic relationships can affect mental health. Is that right?
What happens when no one asks a follow up question?
You mean when someone says, I'm fine, and no one asks what's actually going on? I think that can be really isolating. Like your feelings aren't important enough to dig deeper. Like you're being written off, not really seen.
How does this phase affect friendship and family bonds?
Space can be tough on relationships, whether physical distance or emotional space. It can create distance, but sometimes space allows people to work through things and appreciate each other more. It really depends on how well the relationships handle it.
What does this phase affect friendship and family bonds?
You mean, how does distance affect friendship and family goals? I think distance and not being close to people really impact how plans happen. When you're far away, it's hard to just hang out or make spontaneous decisions together. So you have to be more intentional about staying in touch.
How can active listening change the pattern?
What pattern are you thinking about? Is it the pattern of saying, I'm fine when you don't mean it? Okay, got it.
Give me more detail.
You want to dive deeper into how to change that pattern? Like break out of saying, I'm fine when you actually aren't?
When does I am fine become a barrier on connection?
I think you might be asking when I'm fine stops being helpful and becomes a barrier, like when it gets in the way of real connection.
When does I am fine become a barrier connection?
Hmm. When does just saying I'm fine become a roadblock to really connecting with people?
How can active listening change the pattern?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Could you try saying that differently?
How can active listening change this pattern?
Okay, so active. Hey, I feel like I'm missing something here. Can you say that again? I didn't quite catch what you said.
Give me more detail.
I'm not quite catching what you're saying. Could you try phrasing that again? Okay, thanks.
When does I am fine become a barrier to connection? What happens inside a person? Say I am fine, but ignorant emotion affect mental well-being.
Okay, so you're asking when I'm fine gets in the way of connection, and then what happens inside someone who's actually still carrying emotions? How does that affect their mental health? That's a good question. Um, when I'm fine becomes a habit instead of a genuine answer, it creates distance. Inside, that person is holding on to all those feelings. And suppressing them that way takes a toll over time. Anxiety, sadness, or just feeling disconnected from yourself.
How does this first affect friendship and family bonds?
Ooh, so how this constant saying I'm fine thing affects friendships and overall happiness? I think pretending you're okay when you're not creates distance. Becomes hard to really connect, and that can hurt friendships and make you less happy overall. Got it.
How
Is there
can
anything else
families
you want?
change this pattern? When does I am fine become a barrier to connection?
Active listening, huh? Yeah, that could really help. When someone opens up, even with something small, really hearing them out instead of going straight for I'm fine and moving on, giving space for people to really share instead of shutting it down. That could change things.
How does this space active friendship and family bonds? How does social media push the I am fine mindset?
I think you're asking how that emotional distance stuff affects friendships and family bonds, especially in the context of social media. Oh, you have to be creative. What do you mean by that?
Give me more detail.
I'm not offended, but I appreciate you calling that out. Sometimes the audio gets a bit jumbled, which can make it hard for me to understand.
What happens inside? How can we create safe spaces of honest conversation?
I think I heard vulnerable conversation. You're asking about how to create spaces where people can really open up and talk genuinely.
What are her curves to saying I am fine? How can we create safe space for honest conversation? How can we respond more honest without oversharing?
Okay, let's break this down. You're asking about what happens on the inside when someone says, I'm fine when they're not, and how to create space for real conversation. When someone's saying, I'm fine as a habit, they're often suppressing feelings, anger, sadness, all kinds of stuff. That can lead to anxiety, depression, or just feeling disconnected from. You're welcome. Anything else you wanted to discuss today?
How does ignore emotion affect mental well-being?
Suppressed emotions definitely take a toll. They can turn into anxiety, depression, physical health issues, or just a feeling of being disconnected from yourself. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Eventually, it's going to pop up.
How can we be respond more honest without oversharing?
I'm not following what you're asking about. Could you try that again? Good question. Instead of just defaulting to I'm fine, there are lots of options. I'm having a rough day. I need some time to process, or even just, I'm not really feeling myself today. The important thing is being more specific about what's actually going on. I'm doing okay. It's been a bit challenging. I'm working through some stuff. Not the greatest, to be honest. You could be specific about what's wrong too. I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm feeling a little down. Anything real instead of the automatic fine. You're welcome.